Well, howdy folks. Welcome to my little slice of paradise, tucked away out here in the middle of nowhere. I bought this land years ago, specifically because it was remote. Peace, quiet, and nature, that's what I was after. My property line brushes right up against a designated bear conservation zone. Seriously, it's a federally protected area. That's why I've got these big, bright yellow signs plastered every 50 feet along my fence line. You can't miss them, they say in no uncertain terms. Warning, bear activity. Enter at your own risk. I figured that was clear enough for anyone with half a brain. Turns out, I overestimated some people. A few years back, they started building this fancy new housing development on the other side of the valley. All these cookie-cutter houses with perfectly manicured lawns and, of course, a homeowners association and HOA. I didn't pay it much mind. My land was my land, separate from all that. At least, that's what I thought. One sunny afternoon, I was out mending a fence post when I saw this golf cart tearing across my pasture, leaving ruts in the grass. At the wheel was a woman with that haircut. You know the one. She screeched to a halt about 10 feet from me, hopped out with a clipboard, and just started yelling. No hello, no introduction, just pure, unfiltered rage. She started screaming about my unauthorized structures, pointing her pen at my 100-year-old barn, said it wasn't up to the HOA's aesthetic code. Then she had the gall to get on me about my lawn height. My lawn. I'm on a 50-acre ranch. Lady, this is a pasture, not a pudding green. The grass is for my livestock. I let her rant for a minute, just to see how far she'd take it. She was waving this clipboard around, talking about fines and liens and how she was going to have my property condemned if I did uncomply with the HOA regulations of a neighborhood I wasn't even in. When she finally paused for a breath, I just calmly tipped my hat. I said, "Ma'am, with all due respect, this is private property. You're trespassing. And more importantly, did you happen to see any of the signs on your way in?" She scoffed. "Your little scare tactics don't work on me. I know the law. You can't just put up illegal signs to avoid community standards." I just shook my head and pointed toward the fence line, not 50 yards away, where one of my big yellow signs was clearly visible. "Ma'am, that's not a suggestion. This is a bear conservation area. We have grizzlies that wander through here all the time. It's not safe." She actually laughed, a loud, obnoxious laugh. "Bears, oh please. You people out in the country are so dramatic. There hasn't been a bear in this valley in years. I've read the development reports. You're just trying to intimidate me." I tried one more time. I said, "Ma'am, those reports are for your manicured little development. This is the wild. The bears don't read HOA bylaws. I'm asking you, for your own safety, to please get back in your cart and leave." She put her hands on her hips and puffed out her chest. "I am not leaving until you sign this compliance agreement. I am an official board member, and you will respect my authority." It was at that exact moment that the universe decided to chime in. From the thicket of trees and brush right behind her, near the fence line she'd been so dismissive of, came a sound. It was a low, deep huff, a sound you feel in your chest before you even really hear it. The woman, let's call her Karen, froze mid-sentence. Her eyes went wide. Slowly, she turned around, and there, not 30 feet from her, was the reason for all my signs. A massive grizzly bear. It had been ambling along the tree line and had probably been drawn by all the shouting. This was a big fella, a mature boar I'd seen a few times before. He wasn't being aggressive, just curious. He stood up on his hind legs to get a better look, sniffing the air. He probably stood a good 7, maybe 8 feet tall. You have never seen the color drain from a person's face so fast. This woman, who moments before was the queen of her little concrete kingdom, looked like she was about to faint. She was completely petrified, couldn't move, couldn't speak. All that bluster and authority vanished in an instant. All that was left was pure, primal fear. The bear dropped back to all fours, gave another huff, and took a step forward. Now, I deal with bears. I respect them. I know how to handle them. I always carry a bear horn on my belt when I'm out, just for situations like this. It's not to hurt them, just to give them a scare and send them on their way. I slowly unclipped it, raised it, and gave it a short, powerful blast. The sound that came out was deafening. The bear, who was not expecting it, immediately recoiled. He shook his head, turned, and crashed back into the woods, disappearing as quickly as he'd appeared. He just wanted some peace and quiet, same as me. The horn, however, had a different effect on Karen. The shock of the noise broke her paralysis. She let out a shriek that was 10 times louder than the horn, scrambled back into her golf cart with the kind of speed you see in cartoons, and took off. She didn't even turn it around properly, just drove it backward in a wild, swerving path across my pasture, nearly flipping it twice. I just stood there watching her go, until the little cart was just a dot in the distance, heading back to the land of perfect lawns and no personality. She left her clipboard behind. I picked it up, took a look at all the ridiculous violations she'd written down, and had a good long laugh. I tossed it in the burn barrel later that day. Needless to say, I never saw that HOA Karen again. I never got another notice, another angry visit, or another threat. I guess a close encounter with a few 100 pounds of grizzly bear is a more effective deterrent than a no trespassing sign. Sometimes nature has its own way of enforcing the rules, and out here nature is the only authority I answer to. Thanks for stopping by the ranch, folks. I hope you enjoyed the story. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to hear more tales from out here on the edge of the wild. Stay safe out there.